And we live. We back at it, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome to another episode of Kingdom Kast. It's your host, formerly known as Bad Luck Chuck. My guy D Mac, who's the host of Tell the Truth to the right of me. I'm gonna be breaking down last night's preseason game, the first one of 2025 against the Cardinals. Lost 20-17, but the scoreboard does not matter in preseason. What matters is we looking for depth and we looking to see who stood out and who needs to work on some things. Mac, man. So I mean, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, feeling good. We finally got some preseason action and some guys, hitting people in other uniforms, which is nice to see, man. You guys got after it. We got a touchdown from Patrick Mahomes, which is always nice to see. And you obviously mentioned the final score, but the starters basically had control of this game for the time in which they were in. So, hey, it's a good thing to be able to start off. Obviously significant injury to Deion Bush, unfortunately, but outside of that, everybody was able to get out of there healthy. So hey, we'll move on.
Okay. Well, probably had somebody in the backstage, but maybe he'll come back
Yeah,
later.
Trey was in the car. We'll see if he joins up later on.
Yeah, boy out here living dangerous.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, man. Let's go and get straight to it, man. Everybody wants to talk about the main attraction, Josh Simmons, man. I mean, of course, you put the meme on your own personal page, about Josh Simmons, showing your excitement and everything. Played 11 snaps, good as advertised. I mean, what was your thoughts on how Josh Simmons looked out there last night?
I thought that he looked like you needed him to, in my opinion. And I know that sounds like a very generic answer, but he was doing exactly like I wanted him to do. He was able to show the athleticism to put himself in the right positions on a consistent basis. And then he showed the hand placement, hand usage, and the power in his hands to really shut down the edge. Went through and charted it. Zero losses, just didn't have any losses. I wouldn't say it was like full of dominant wins, but he did have a few of them as well. So Josh Simmons, pitched a shutout, which is exactly what he should do. And people will be like, it's preseason. Who is he going up against? It was Baron Browning for the majority of those snaps, and Baron Browning is somebody that played very well for the Denver Broncos. Obviously, moved over to the Cardinals, and he is a legitimately good functional edge as far as the National Football League is concerned, and Josh Simmons handled them. So first reps against NFL competition, Josh Simmons passed with flying colors, in my personal opinion. So we have all the jokes about the Hall of Fame fitting and all that stuff, the All-Pro. Obviously it's facetious, but ultimately at the end of the day, he looked really good at left tackle, which is encouraging. It is probably the most encouraging thing to come out of this game.
Absolutely. And Trey out here living dangerous, dog. Trying to do this live with us, man. Like, at least be parked somewhere, dude.
I'm almost home. Don't even worry about me.
Well,
All
wait
right.
till you get home then. Get home first and
That's what
then
I'm
jump
saying.
on.
Keep
I'm
your
good.
eyes on
I
the
trust
road,
you.
brother.
I'm good.
Oh, shit.
I don't care if you're good. I'm saying you get home first and then get on the thing.
Exactly, bro.
I will remove you myself, Trey. You can go ahead and get off this thing, and when you get home, then you can hop back on.
Just a second. I'll be back in just a second.
All right, cool.
All right, we're gonna get Trey back on when he gets home safely.
Yeah, I'm like, boy, you living dangerous out here. But anyway, as far as how I saw it, man, yeah, Josh definitely looked great. He looked the part. His feet are extremely quick. As far as like getting off the line, he was able to just get in his spot like every time. Baron Browning just had no chance out there. Um, the thing I'm noticing with Josh though is I kind of want him to I kind of want him to watch himself on just like the grabbing just a little bit because I feel like the refs gonna try to look at that as the season goes along, and then that's maybe something he might have to adjust to. But and then also like maybe standing his arms just a little bit, but other than that, man, like he was good as advertised. I mean, no complaints over here. Like we found our future left tackle for the next 10 years. It seems like just through one game. But of
Yeah, I
course,
mean,
he's going to test it even more with elite pass rushers. You know what I'm saying? As he'll have to go through those kind of tests. But other than that, he looked great.
yeah, I mean, there's always nitpicking things as far as the hand
Yeah.
placement always being perfect. But the reality of the situation is, even when sometimes it can be wrong, or he could overextend, or sometimes the punch is in the wrong place, his ability to recover because his athleticism and the anchor that he possesses is really good. So now, yeah, again, first time out, really encouraging, and I'm happy to say that Josh Simmons certainly passed the test that he had here versus the Cardinals.
Yep. And then here's another thing we want to highlight, man. Opening kickoff, man. Like we gotta talk about this career, Chris Roland Wallace, man. Like
Mhm.
there's gotta be the way to get this kid more snaps. Like he literally did everything out there last night. Opening kickoff, he forced a fumble. He gets an interception. Like I think he made another decent play out there too. He made a good play defensively as well. So there's gotta be a way to get that kid more snaps out there.
Well, I think that the fact that we saw, and I don't want to necessarily just paint it in a negative light, but Mike Edwards did not look good. He looked older very quickly. He looks like the guy that got cut from the Bills for understandable reasons. In a safety room in which the Bills were going through everything, obviously starting DeMar Hamlin, we saw that win an AFC Championship game. So, and the fact that obviously Deion Bush went down with the unfortunate Achilles injury.
Yeah,
Them trying to get him safety snaps is not surprising from that standpoint. Now, I have issues as far as them putting the wrong corners for more safety snaps as far as that aspect of is concerned, but they feel comfortable getting some more versatility in there. That's fine. But your point is, Chris Roland Wallace looks like he's a guy that can assert himself as far as special teams is concerned. Obviously, playing the deep safety, he had the interception, but I thought he gave you good snaps outside of that. And, I think that Chris Roland Wallace is carving out a role for him in this defensive backfield that makes a lot of sense from that perspective. So there are some other question marks as far as the entirety of the defensive back room. But Chris Roland Wallace had a nice outing yesterday for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned it with corner with guys shouldn't be playing slot corner. I mean, y'all pretty much know who we talking about here. I mean, Shamari Connor, like is this not gonna work, Spags? Like I know you keep trying it, thinking something's gonna change, but it's not gonna change, man. Like he gotta play safety, man. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm seeing Chris Wallace look better than him. We still wait on Christian Fulton to get healthy. I mean, he's better than him at doing that. I mean, and obviously Trent, obviously. But like at the end of the day, man, I mean, you just gotta put Connor out there, and we ain't doing those 3 safety looks. Or
Yeah, I mean,
something.
I still don't mind Shamari Connor playing big nickel snaps. Like I understand it, but the fact that they continue to put him in positions in which he's obviously just not comfortable or has the ability to cover wide receivers on a consistent basis is very tough. It just is difficult. And I would say even when you watched a guy like Jeffrey Bassett, who I know that we're going to get to, Jeffrey Bassett looked more comfortable covering some of the tight ends for the Cardinals yesterday than Shamari Connor has. And that's not – it feels like it's a crazy knock on Shamari Connor, but that's not Shamari Connor's game. And we saw it during his rookie year, in my opinion. When you played him more like a true safety, he was able to make an impact from that aspect. And so it's really frustrating that they continue to kind of pigeonhole him into this to try and make this work. But because of the outside cornerback situation with Fulton being down and Noah Williams maybe not asserting himself as, they would have hoped yet to this point, even though I thought that he played well yesterday, that's a little bit of a position that's such in flux right now that Trent McDuffie has to play outside and you can't put your best in the corner inside on a consistent basis. So we'll see how that progresses. Hopefully it's one of those things where as we get deeper into camp and in the preseason, those adjustments are made, especially when Fulton gets back from that standpoint. But if not, then that's going to be an early season weakness that teams are going to continue to pick at, just like it was last year as well. So we'll see how that progresses. But, Shamari Connor has safety talent, and I think this team could use it based on how Mike Edwards looked, based on Deion going down, based on the fact that Brian Cook, looks fine. I wouldn't say anything spectacular. Jaden Hicks looks solid, but I think that they could still use a third safety to play most of those snaps, and Shamari Connor has the talent to do so. They just right now are putting him not in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, and like you saw when the Cardinals got their first offensive possession, like they was attacking Shamari like wherever he was at, lined up on the field, whether he was in man or zone, they attacked him.
Mm-hmm.
So they spotted out the weakness right away.
Yeah, I mean I hate to point out both of these guys off the top of the show, but it's the same thing that we dealt with last year, where Shamari Connor was in the slot, he's getting targeted. Najee Johnson's on the outside, he's getting targeted, and that's just how those things go. And in my personal opinion, it's because both of those guys are playing out of position.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get to the first offensive possession. Pop, man, he looked pretty spry out there. I know, like in the beginning of the camp, the reports weren't looking good, but it seemed like he's starting to return to form a little bit. He had a strong first carry, And then Jason Brownlee, Hard Knocks legend, got a touchdown, back shoulder catch. So here's the thing with Brownlee, man. Here's what I want to ask you. We know Rasheed gonna get suspended. We don't know how long. But if Brownlee continues to perform like this, whether he's catching the ball or whether he's blocking in the run game, do you see him making the roster at least until Rasheed comes back?
I would say probably not. And the reason why I say that is I think that you know who the main guys are going to be here. Obviously, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju, Jalen Royals as top four. That's locked in. I feel like Nico Remigio is probably still going to be on this team, do the return stuff. And I thought he had some solid snaps as far as a wide receiver was concerned. Tyquan Thornton, obviously somebody we'll talk about who made a nice impact yesterday in the game.
Yep.
I can't see them keeping 7 as far as the wide receivers. And that's, assuming that Rasheed Rice is suspended. I don't see them getting to 7. And that's what it would be necessary to keep Brownlee as well. So maybe Brownlee can push Nico off this roster. I don't know. We'll see where, things kind of fall after this game. I thought it was a really nice catch. I thought that he had himself a nice day. But ultimately, I think that Brownlee and Elijah Badger, who also made some plays later on in the game, have an opportunity to be on the practice squad and provide some, solid depth for this wide receiver room right now that I think could use it because last, few years they struggled, obviously, from that standpoint. And the Sky Moore conversation we can have, but I don't think he needs to be on this practice squad even at this point, but that's a different conversation we can get into. But I think it'll be tough to get Brownlee on the roster, but I liked what I saw from him yesterday to keep him around in Kansas City.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Brownlee, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to finally stick to the NFL roster because I definitely liked what he did on Hard Knocks. He showed some promise on there. But just that with this team and how this roster is constructed right now, it's going to be really tough. So, I mean, if he somehow falls to us in a situation where we can have him on practice squad, cool. But I don't know. He may get another look from another NFL team. So we'll see how that plays out. Trey, you finally settled in, man.
There he is. He's at home now.
So Trey, we was just talking about the little short offensive possession. We was talking about Josh Simmons. I mean, what was your thoughts on Josh from last night?
Josh was able to do exactly what you need your left tackle to do, which is number one, keep you upright, but as well as he was able to very much so contain the edge. He was definitely able to, especially in those situations, especially in the run, he was able to knock out. He was able to take whatever Arizona edge rusher that was on the field. He was able to keep them from being out of the picture. I think that I liked exactly what I saw from Josh. Is you're giving Pat enough time to deliver the ball, even if it's on a quick out, even if it's on a fade route. I'm very pleased with how he did for that quick shortened drive. So it was a good night. It was a good night for him. That was the main one. What was the other question, or was it just that?
Nah, we when you hopped on, we was talking about Jason Brownlee and seeing if he actually had a legit shot of making the roster while Rasheed is suspended.
I don't believe so. I agree with what Max said. It's just like you're looking at that situation. He showed some great promise. He was able to come up with a couple catches, including that touchdown. But I think that the landscape of it is if we get into the 7, that means that there's a big problem in that area, or they're not certain at all about what's going on. I think that we're going to keep it down to 6. Now, who that 6 spot is, I think that Elijah Badger, he showed some good promise. I mean, even though the only big play he made was like a first down, but the way that he was able to get that first down was very impressive to me. I'm not giving up on the kid. 84. He's from Valdosta or Fresno.
Fresno. I think it's Fresno.
Valdosta. Then they flipped it around and said Fresno. I'm like, bro, which one?
Fresno. Yeah, Magdalena.
Yeah, Magdalena. I'm not ready to give up on him because I think that is like the matter of as much as Chris Ludicum did. He didn't really give. They didn't really give him a shot. I'm not ready to pencil in Brownlee just he caught the touchdown. I think that there's a lot of guys who still have a lot more to prove, and I can't wait to see them against Seattle because I think that's where they're really going to get their opportunity. Uh, it's going to be these next two games, especially if things repeat itself. I can't wait to see what they do here, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready to pencil in Jason Brownlee right now. I only see him as a practice squad guy, so which is okay. But is he 53 man yet? No, not at all.
That's a fair assessment right there. I mean, I can't complain about the answer. But at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, I'm rooting for Jason to stick somewhere, whether it's us or whether it's another NFL team that
Oh,
could use a wide receiver. So
I think I would say this is like there's so much optimism for these guys who are fighting first because I mean we know what Taekwondo Thornton. He's gonna be the red zone kind of guy. Mahomes tried to get it to him on that RPO, and he just great play by I don't know if it was Will Johnson, but play by him by being able to stay on that. I think that Brownlee is gonna have an opportunity. Kid, like I said beforehand, Elijah Badger. A lot of these kids, it's gonna be a very interesting battle on how they handle this because again, we have so much optimism and there's so much talent that's in the building.
absolutely. Shout out to Chris in the comments. Future Hall of Famer Josh Simmons. Yeah.
All right.
Somebody already made the bust for Josh Simmons already. I said, man, the hype is real with this kid. So
Yeah, I think the number one thing about it is I have to continuously tell certain fans on the team, we weren't concerned about the team. We
mhm.
college football. You watch how Ohio State ran. You didn't just watch for just Jeremiah Smith and Quinshon Judkins and all those guys. You didn't watch it just for them. You wanted to see how the offense ran in general. Josh Simmons was a staple in the offense. The only thing that hindered him was the fact that he didn't play in the college football playoff. But he's sitting over there. He did what he exactly needed to do. The thing about it is it's a partially patella tendon injury. I don't care if it's partially or fully clearly torn. The thing about it is when it gives with any type of knee injury, you don't play about that, and that's the only thing we had here. But as long as he's good and he's cleared and he feels like he's 110%, absolutely it's a go. And I mean, that's just how the whole thing is. I don't think anybody should ever think that we're thinking that this guy is not like that. Like you're playing in he played in the Big Ten. That's one of the conferences in all of college football.
Yep. Here's another guy that we got to talk about on the offensive line. People are overreacting to this guy that's lined up next to Josh Simmons, just based off the one rep that he lost. Kingsley at left guard. People are freaking out over that one rep, but other than that, Kingsley looks solid to me. So I mean, D-Mac, I'm gonna start with you. I mean, what was your overall assessment of Kingsley besides him losing that one time?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that he looked fine personally. I when I was going through the snaps, like didn't give up too much ground, had only one loss in my personal opinion, in which they were able to get him off the blitz. He was helping inside on Creed and then was late getting out there and putting his body in the right position. And ultimately the rusher was able to blow him up quickly. And then he also stumbled over Creed afterwards, which made it look even worse. So I don't know. I thought that he was fine. Moving in the run game was all right. It wasn't great by any means. Again, I think that him providing competent left guard play is all you really need for this offensive line to be in a significantly better position than it was last year. So based on what we feel about Josh Simmons. So I thought he was fine. I guess some people thought otherwise, and they're talking about let's get Jalen Moore some left guard snaps. I personally don't feel that way. I'm fine with Jalen Moore continuing to get left guard snaps, to be clear, because I think that's important for the depth of this team. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with what Kingsley Suamataia put on tape personally for me. So I think next week we're going to go out there and give them, I guess, a quarter worth of actual, and not Andy Reid preseason quarter, an actual quarter worth of snaps next to Josh Simmons and Creed Humphrey, and we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I felt fine about his performance personally.
Yeah, and I want to say this real quick. Mac Wilson, he's kind of underrated. I mean, that ain't no slouch. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy that came from the Patriots that was kind of, coming along. You know what I'm saying? And for all the people who said, Kingsley tripped over Creed, I'm like, that was well after the fact that Kingsley had already lost, so that ain't make no difference. But other than that, I thought Kingsley did fine.
Yeah,
What
I
you got
thought
on?
Kingsley was largely fine. Trey, yeah, you got anything on as far as you
Uh,
saw from Kingsley?
absolutely agree. I think that Arizona's got a young, bright future at that core D tackle position, because it's like the thing about it is they look at Arizona, they look at their past, and they look at what they've done, and be like, oh, this team isn't in a title contending. But if you look around and you talk to people, you talk about fans around the NFC West, none of them sleep on the Cardinals because of the ability and their talent. And let's not forget that number one, their coach, Mr. Jonathan Gannon, he's one of those guys who he's not gonna just lay down and let you have whatever you want. He's gonna make you fight for everything. Like coming in this game, I was like, all right, Arizona's gonna try to give it their best because they recognize who we are, they respect us, and they're not over here and just lay down and just let us, do whatever we want to do to them. And I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer here. Guess what? Another guy that's on there is on that D line, Darius Robinson, second year guy coming out of Mizzou.
Yeah.
The guy's gonna get pressure as well. Like that's the thing. D-Rob is always gonna be a guy who's gonna continue to get pressure. I knew that was gonna happen. Like they're really building a very solid defense, a young solid defense. Got guys who have shown production collegiate level, but they can also translate into the NFL level. I mean, that's the thing about it, is like this is the first game. These guys had a chip on their shoulder. They had nothing to lose. I mean, when you got a team that's got nothing to lose and all they're trying to do is they want to just make themselves known a little bit, it's going to make these battles a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit more competitive. I'm not going to sit over here and overreact about Kingsley. I'm like what Max said, even after the first drive, even when he had Gardner Minshew at quarterback, he looked fine. He looked like a guy who was doing what he needed to do, which is keep his matchup right in front of him. Don't let them absolutely do whatever they want to you, and you keep at least 3 seconds from Mahomes to deliver that ball, maybe a little bit more. But for as I see in it, I'm not going to sit over and say, oh, he's otherworldly, he's on the same level as Joe Thuney. No, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to sit over here. I'm not going to sit over and say, oh, this guy, we need to go ahead and dump him, get rid of him. Like this is his second year in the league. Some kids still have catching up to do in their second year of the league.
For sure. Shout out to Ruben De Cruz in the building. We're not giving up on Kingsley, man. He's just beginning.
I will say
he's just getting started, maybe.
I will say this as well. I think that it is important to say this, that like Kingsley is somebody that was already going to be a developmental tackle coming into the NFL, and then is now, after having his confidence stripped away by, in my opinion, the biggest mistake the Chiefs made last season and pulling him early, that had ramifications throughout the entirety of the season that came to roost as far as the Super Bowl was concerned. The fact that he then had to go through that throughout the season, then switch over to guard for that Week 18 game, and I didn't look lost as far as that was concerned, played fine versus the Broncos, and then moved over at that standpoint to come into this offseason and say you're playing the left guard. There are aspects of that transition is not going to be smooth. He has to work some things out. And I don't know. I haven't seen anything that says, hey, man, this guy has no business playing here. I can tell you a few offensive linemen that looked like they had no business being on the field yesterday. Mike Caliendo is one of them. Wanya Norris is another one of them. They look like they had no business. And I'm saying that not to say that like only starters can do it, because I tell you who looked like he had. Esapole looked really good, dominating versus third and fourth stringers. So you can tell when a player doesn't belong on the field. Kingsley Suamataia does not look like that. He looks like a guy that transitioned to a new position and needs to work on some things. And I did want to say this as well. The Josh Simmons, Kingsley Suamataia pairing on the left side of the offensive line are both young. They are going to have some communication and recognizing blitz, stunts, and twists. We didn't see many of those games up front, but Suamataia was slow to play that blitz as well, and it's going to be a big thing of how quickly things happen on the interior. He's got to get better at. But yeah, I mean, people saying we got to get him off the field, I personally do not see that. I think that he was fine yesterday, and I think he's going to continue to improve as you give him those reps.
Yeah, and Nate Taylor, he tweeted like putting us on high alert about Esapole. Like, watch this kid. And
look, I told people when he was the UDFA, and I was like, guys, and I put out the interview that he did. Shout out to the Bootleg football show. what's his? I almost forgot the name of the people there. Brett Coleman and EJ. They do a great job over there. But they had an interview with Esapole at the Senior Bowl, and he was talking about his process as far as being able to continue to work as far as pass protection. Washington State throws the ball all over the place, and he played basketball for a long time. He's just transitioning to play, football in general. For that to be his first NFL experience in the preseason, even against third and fourth stringers, I thought that he was impressive in my personal opinion. And literally, he was a good pass blocker in college. It translated pretty well. The athleticism, the ability to use his hands effectively, and has some power in his hands as well. I think he is somebody that you're going to see, unlike some of the other developmental tackles like Ethan Driscoll or True Godric, which True Godric, again, also coming from, overseas, it's a whole different pathway. But though he is somebody that actually has a chance to be a developmental piece that is really worthwhile for the Chiefs, because I think right now he is their best I guess he's their fourth best tackle on the roster, if I was going to put it that way, because I think obviously Juwan, Josh, and then obviously Jalen Moore are the top three, but I'm putting him ahead of Wanya Morris. Personally, for me, I just truly do feel that way. Now, that's not to say he's a perfect player. He needs aggression in the run game, which is going to happen hopefully over time. I think that you can see that he needs a lot of work as far as that's concerned. And then obviously his pass rush, ability or pass blocking ability can always, use a lot of refinement. But there is a real pathway to him being somebody that's important for this roster as far as a depth piece, or even competing for a starting spot next year, depending on what happens at the right tackle position. So in my opinion, like, you can see when guys don't belong on the field. Kingsley Suamataia was somebody that didn't belong on the field, in my opinion, and Esapole certainly wasn't either.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk about this next guy here, Jaden Hicks, man. Jaden Hicks had an interception, and we saw like a different angle where Kyler Murray was trying to do too much. He was trying to pull off the no look, and it backfired on him. Didn't see Jaden Hicks in front of that at all. But I'm like, we love gifts, you know what I'm saying? So thank you, Kyler. But anyway, Jaden Hicks, man, like, how quickly do you guys think that he's gonna rise to stardom? Because I think he's gonna be a star in this league. It might not take long.
I mean, there are some aspects of, if you're talking about star, nearly at the safety position, like, there are some limitations still to his game. I think that he sometimes has a little bit of issues of triggering downhill from, like, when he's in a deep split safety position. He missed on that screen pass. He missed the tackle as well that ended up going for a touchdown. There are ways in which he is limited as far as coverage is concerned. I think he's better in some aspects versus guys that man-to-man coverage, but there's still limitations there. But I mean, look, he's a playmaker, which is nice to see on the back end. And I think that he has an ability to continue to make, downhill impacts, be a robber effectively, obviously can find his way around the ball, which is a really important skill and somebody to have on the back end. And I think this defense has always needed that type of aspect, which Tyrann Mathieu brought and Justin Reed kind of tried to bring, but didn't necessarily succeed all the way in. I think Jaden Hicks has a really good shot at that star level. I think he's going to improve in a lot of different ways, and that may not come till year 3 or 4 from that aspect. But right now, I do think that he is the best safety on the roster, and I think he is really good for what this defense needs on the back end.
What you got, Trey?
I definitely agree. I mean, Jaden has shown tremendous. I mean, we've seen just through his rookie year where he was able to not only take care of his job, but excel a little bit more than what we asked him to do, especially during that stretch. I mean, he was one of the most productive safeties during that week, 12 to 14 or week 12 to 15 stretch. In my opinion, I think that especially how he was able to not only read somewhat of the eyes of Kyler Murray, but being able to sit right in coverage, not be able to overbite, something that we had an issue with Justin Reed on. Is like the one thing that Justin Reed wasn't good at. Jaden Hicks is showing that he's a lot better at. I'm not going to sit over here and call him star yet, because I mean that's unfair if going off of not even a full season of being a starter, as well as being one preseason game. But I think that he has absolutely the capabilities. I think he has the talent, and I think he knows Spags' defense well enough to do what you need him to be, which is a guy who can command the backside of the defense, a guy who can absolutely make plays if that ball's in the air. So Am I going to say star now? No, but is he going to be a star? Does he have the potential of being one of the big a star like later on down the road? Absolutely. I think that if you give him a couple years of him having above average guard safety play, he is going to be one of the best safeties in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk about some more young guys on this defense. Some guys got high quality motor. Let's start with Jeffrey Bassett, man, because there was a lot of tweets and reactions to Jeffrey Bassett, especially when he shot out of a cannon on that 3rd and 1. You know, got underneath the defender and help get a stop. So
no, go ahead.
I'll say. So, what was y'all thoughts on Jeffrey Bassett's performance last night?
No, I love watching Jeffrey Bassett on tape, man. That was a fun watch. He brought a level of athleticism that I wasn't necessarily, aware that he could do that on an NFL field as far as NFL athletes are concerned. And I was impressed from that standpoint. I think that Spagnuolo is going to love blitzing him because the timing and instincts that he has as far as a mind for the game and being able to do that. You saw it obviously on the 3rd-and-1, as you said. The way in which he diagnosed this is exactly where the run play is designed to go. Saw the gap open up, looped around to the other A gap, and got in there immediately. And then had the athleticism to still try and make an impact on the play, even when it tried to bounce outside, was impressive. Coverage, was there. I saw multiple instances of him going against tight ends and being able to stick, with multiple different cuts. I thought that was impressive. So I think he is somebody, and obviously this is just a limited sample size, but I think he is somebody that is an upgrade over the 4th linebacker that we had last year. And I'm not going to call him out, but I think that is a significant upgrade from that standpoint, and is somebody that, depending on where Drew Tranquill is, could be favorable in certain situations from a coverage aspect to be able to pair with Nick Bolton, because he has that ability from that standpoint to be, you talk about kind of big nickel, packages, or even pseudo linebacker dime aspects from that standpoint. He is that guy really built from that standpoint. And I'll say this because I had this question mark because he's a safety transition linebacker. Even though he gave up, significant size to some of the offensive linemen, he wasn't giving it up without a fight. He was trying his best and, playing with leverage to make sure that he could, not be pushed out of the gaps on a consistent basis. So he did get caught a little bit on a few misdirection plays, but I was really impressed with what Jeffrey Bassett put on tape for his first outing.
It's on you, Trey. What you got?
Hey, that was my guy of the draft. That was the guy that I wanted. I put it out. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on saying it until the shit's over with. Outside, that was one of my 3 Oregon Duck players that I wanted on the Chiefs. The 2 being Derek Cartman and who was the other one? Oh, Terrence Ferguson. Duh. Those 3 were definitely the 3 guys I wanted from Oregon to come here. I'm glad that we got Jeffrey Bassett. If people know, Jeffrey was a guy who was a DB that Oregon turned into a linebacker. And the thing about him is the guy has a very high motor. The guy is one of the, he's exactly what you want. Is he on the level of what, like, Willie Gay-ish? Not right now. But This guy is definitely a guy with a very high motor, with a guy who loves playing the game, and he's going to try what he's going to do is you're going to see 115% effort from him. He's going to be a guy who's going to try and break up passes. He's going to try and force as many turnovers. He's one of those kind of guys. He's a Swiss Army knife, which he even called himself, which is, I can learn the mic, I can learn the will, I can learn the – He's one of those guys that's very coachable, but also has a very good potential of being very dominance. The speed aspect, he absolutely showed in that preseason game, because I was like, DeMarcado. I know about DeMarcado because he shows up not only in preseason games, but he shows up here and there during the regular season. Like, DeMarcado he might get the first, and then you're just seeing number 31 in white just shoot right through the cannon and just absolutely stuff him right then and there. If we were able to really get some points out of that, I definitely would have said Jeffrey Bassett would have made them one of the biggest plays of the game. I think that is like Spags. I think that we've said this before. Spags loves this kind of demeanor. He loves this style of linebacker. He's going to be a guy that, a lot of Chiefs fans, when Drew does walk away, because unfortunately, like what Max said, Drew will walk away. Age does happen when especially coming to linebackers. He's going to be able to fill in seamlessly into that role, and you're going to have a lineup of potentially Nick Bolton, Leo Chanel, and Jeffrey Bassett. And I'm absolutely ecstatic about it because especially if we're talking about a guy who can help out in the pass game, those type of linebackers are hard to find. So I loved what he saw. I can't wait to see what he does next week because I think that especially if I saw him in special teams as well, he was around the football during those 2 fumbles. I thought he forced out the second one, but then I saw it was Nick Jones again. I just think I love the acquisition. I love where he's at right now. Am I going to sit over and say he needs to start right now? No. But if we're getting toward that part to where we just need a little extra boost in that second half of the season, heading into the postseason, Jeffrey Bassett, in my eyes, is going to be one of the biggest ones.
All right, so this leads me to my next point because you guys brought up Drew Tranquil. Do you guys think he still looks a step slow out there? Is that a concern? Are y'all concerned about Drew right now at this point?
No. It's preseason, so I'll wait until
Wait till the real thing.
Yeah, I'll wait till the real thing before I make any big time judgments on that.
I'm judging Drew like I'm judging Mike Edwards. I get him a little bit of game film under, get him some feet on, let his feet get wet for a little bit. Now, if you're talking about the same situation come week 8 when it starts getting colder, okay, cool. Then we can have this conversation. But as of right now, especially we know how Arizona's field conditions are. I'm not going to be that guy, but I will notice it. Those field conditions aren't the best, but we're going to continue to get better about it. But I'm not tripping as of right now.
So this leads me to my next topic because I said this before the game even happened last night, like a few days ago, and just looking at like the depth chart and everything, like we was going through like our biggest concerns, and I said the linebacker room was our biggest concern, and it kind of showed last night after the starters went out the game. Besides Jeffrey Bassett, man, like Arizona running backs, they got to the second level a bit too easy for my liking last night. I just got major concerns about Cole Christensen and then the other guys, man, in case of injury. So, because like my thinking is these boys that start, they're gonna have to be healthy the entire year.
Yes.
Because I remember like when we played Green Bay on Sunday night, like Nick Bolton was already out. You know, he wasn't gonna play. But like Franklin, he got hurt on the first possession, and then after that, Green Bay was just able to run the ball effectively, and they was able to run play action off of that, and they ate. So that was my concern. I mean, do you guys share some of the same concerns with the linebacker room?
Yeah, Brandon George was awful. That was tough to watch. That was really tough to watch. Cochran looked like Cochran, which he's not great. It's difficult. Cam Jones I thought was fine. So I mean it's difficult to feel amazing about the linebacker depth right now, but Jeffrey Bassett at least makes me feel good that if one of the guys goes down, we have a suitable replacement. So that's probably the most positive thing that I'll say as far as the linebacker depth is concerned.
I definitely agree because I think that's something that we all shared our displeasure for. It's like outside of Drew, Leo, Nick, and Bassett, we're like, who else is it going to be? I mean, that's just kind of how it is. And when I'm looking at it, it's like, of course, can you run a 4-man rotation? Yes. Is it going to be effective? Not always. You're really depending on everybody. You're depending on Drew. You're depending on Leo. And you're depending on Nick to stay healthy for at least 15 to 16 games, which doesn't always happen. So you're going to need one of these guys who's going to be able to step up. I definitely agree. George, when I was watching, I'm like, bro, who the fuck is wearing number 50 and how do I take this shit off of you? You need to change the number. Change one of these DBs. Be number 49 or number 47 or something. Because ain't no way you rocking a legend number and you sitting over here playing like you looking around. That's not what I like to see. Cam Jones, I'll give him a pass because he was able to do what he needed to do in special teams. But, I mean, that still doesn't take away the fact that your defensive help is still needed. It really just – that's the biggest thing is outside of 4 backers, you don't really have that much, and 3 of them are starters. You're going to need to find a guy who can come in and be that 5th, potentially even 6th linebacker. But I mean, I'm hoping that it's just a 1 game thing. I'm hoping that just start off rough a little bit, first game reps. But it's not exciting to see guys like, especially I think Cam got hurt. I think Cam Jones got hurt.
Yeah, he did. Then he came in the game though.
Yeah. But still, that even then is like you're already messing with something that's already thin. If it gets thinner, you're really looking at, we got to go get a veteran, or we got to go make an acquisition right now. But I mean, I'm just hoping that I'm gonna sit over here and say, hey, maybe it's just preseason, maybe it's just game one nerves, whatever the case may be. But it wasn't a good look for our linebacking core.
Now let me ask you guys this: is there a situation? Is there somebody out there at some point that the Chiefs could acquire that could fit this system, or is this going to be have to be the next offseason type of deal to address the linebacker?
Yeah, I mean, we'll always see as far as what cut down day could possibly bring. But I mean, as far as available linebackers, I'd have to take a look. Let me see. I'll take a look real quick to see.
I'm about to say. I was gonna say, Mac, I think that is as empty as that last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when what was going around, bro.
It's ugly. I mean, maybe Josie Jewell, but it's not pretty. So I mean, ultimately, yeah, it's probably going to be a next year thing, but hopefully, it's one of those situations where, because I think Cam Jones is a competent fifth linebacker. I think that Jeffrey Basket can do what he needs to as far as the fourth guy. I think Cam Jones is a competent fifth guy, and I think you should be fine from that standpoint. Obviously, you suffer a bunch of injuries, then you have to make something happen. But I think the Chiefs are probably going to end up being in a fine place as far as the linebacker situation is concerned.
We're going to do exactly the same thing we did with Mac's favorite linebacker. We're going to cut him and then bring him back on practice squad. But honestly, I definitely agree.
Oh,
who was it that did that?
Cole or George?
Which one? No, who was your favorite last year? The one that you absolutely despised. You're like, bro, if you don't get the fuck off my team. It was one of those.
I mean, it wasn't. Neiman wasn't on this team last year. Am I forgetting who was on this team last year?
Nah, Neiman was not on this team last year.
Was it Neiman?
It was definitely somebody else. Was it a defensive lineman?
It was a defensive lineman, yeah.
Oh,
it was was it Matt Dickerson? Yeah, it was Matt Dickerson.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but no,
it's fine. I think the linebacker, because hopefully that you feel good about your top three. Leo Chanel got beat on a Kyler Murray, the Marvin Harrison Jr. dig route, which is fine. I mean, it's not his game. It happens. But I think you feel good about the top three. I think Bassett makes you feel much better about your fourth guy than you did last year. And I think Cam Jones is a competent fifth guy. So we'll see how that progresses. But I think that they're fine from the depth standpoint.
I'll tell you one thing. Josie Jewell, he did pick out Patrick Mahomes twice in the game one time.
Yes.
So there is that. So.
And he did. I think they said the last time that Baron Browning had played against the Chiefs, he also had a sack on Mahomes as well. And Josh Simmons shut him down. So that's positive.
Yeah, none of that this time, sir.
No.
But here's another guy I want to talk about with a high motor, man, that displayed it last night. Ashton Gelati, man. Because you remember he had traded through a double team and was able to help stop the run. It was like a 3-yard gain, I believe. But the dude's motor is just incredible. Like pretty much every snap, it just looked like he wasn't tired out there. So, I mean, what was y'all assessment on Ashton Gelati from last night?
Showed off the motor. Looked undersized, and he tried his best as far as the power was concerned. I would have to fold Ashton Gelati into the unimpressive young edge group that is also currently stood by Felix Anduke-Uzomah. Like, I watched all of the pass rush snaps from both of those players, and then I watched the 2 pass rush snaps from Janoris Robinson, which he got hurt, unfortunately. Like, Janoris Robinson had the most impressive rep of any of all 3 of those guys, which is concerning to say the least. So, like, Ashton Gelati's a rookie, and that was his first action, so I'm not like overreacting or anything to it. So, like, we'll see how it continues to roll on. I am concerned as far as the edge group because, and it folds into the defensive line conversation around Omar Norman a lot too. The secondary pass rush of this team has to get better, and the 3 young guys that could have been looked at to really make an impact to make that better didn't show me anything in game 1. So we'll see how it progresses. And again, it's just limited sample size here, but Ashton Jolly's motor to chase down some of those run plays was good. And I thought Felix was good versus the run too. But like, ultimately, this is not about how well these guys can play the run. We have Mike Dana. We have George Karlaftis. I don't need you to play the run. I need you to get after the passer and help out Chris Jones. And ultimately, right now, I don't see that. So, but again, this is only preseason game 1. So it's not like I'm writing the book on it. But those are the things that I need to see continue as we get close to the season, or get better as we get close to the season.
Absolutely. Trey.
I can't get into the Felix talk right now. There's so much I want to say, but I'm not going to say it right now because it's only game 1 of preseason. But I think that number 1, seeing Ashton Gelati, of course, like, yeah, he was able to chase down a runner. So, I mean, but we knew that he had good speed. He's got a very high motor, but I think that there's still a lot for him to learn. I think that everybody, I think Spags and I think even the position coaches, they know that too. He's going to sit over there, and I think that as time picks up, I'm hoping that he's able to learn a little bit more from George. But the thing about it is when you can't get pressures on the edge and you're on your one-on-one matchup, it's not good to look at that. It's not a good look early, but it could just be again, you're getting into it. You're making that transition from college to NFL, which is a whole different matchup. But I'm not gonna say it's set in stone, but I definitely agree that we are gonna have to. These younger guys are gonna have to start picking it up a little bit sooner, because when we're going into these, when we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go into these, when Chris comes off the field, or Mike Dana comes off the field, or whoever comes off the field, we're gonna need somebody who's gonna be able to do that. And last year for us, that was Turk. Turk was sitting over there. He was able to do exactly what he needed to do, come off the field, help give guys some relief. And, I mean, especially Omar Norman a lot, which, I mean, that's just a second-round pick. It doesn't really matter where you go. You're still a second-round pick. You're a guy that, people are taking a look at. You're going to have to sit over here and you're going to have to start understanding that there's a little bit of a bigger target on my back than what I think I do. And I'm going to have to start picking up more production. But, again, it is early. I think next week, I think Friday is going to be the one that really is going to make us really sit down and say, where are we at from a young player's perspective. But I mean, it's not a good look. It was okay, but it wasn't nothing to say, hey, we got a really deep D line. It's still like all starters and then everybody else.
Yeah, one thing I could say is that I know that the kid's going to get effort. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least I like that from him. But like you guys said, I mean, he definitely still got some work to do. And it is the first preseason game. So, and D-Mac is right on point, because we definitely need another guy that's going to be able to help out Chris Jones, as far as getting to the quarterback, Charles Omenihu, guys like that. So that's good.
He is Malik Herring making it.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, that it's kind of interesting. So Janoris Robinson ended up going out of this game, as I mentioned earlier. I think that he could push Malik Herring off this roster. I don't know. It's tough. It depends on how many edges they want to keep. Yeah, Malik Herring could make it, but he's not giving you anything pass rush wise. And ultimately, right now, you would rather just hope that you get more. Obviously, Ashton Gelati isn't going anywhere. I don't think Felix is going anywhere. So ultimately, I don't think Malik Herring is going to go anywhere. I think that he'll probably end up being cut and brought onto the practice squad just for depth as well. And probably same thing for Janoris Robinson if he's healthy. So yeah, I don't think Malik's going to make it, but it's not like a terrible thing. I think it's better to have him on the practice squad for depth anyway.
And then you also say Jerry Tillery.
Yeah, Tillery, I was actually kind of impressed by. I watched his pass rush snaps. I thought that he had some solid showings, and you could tell he was fighting through a lot of double teams actually, because they were sliding to him more consistently than they were to Omar Norman or whoever else they had next to him. So I thought that Tillery had a nice little showing, and again, this the entirety of the Chiefs pass rush is a what's it called, solar system that revolves around Chris Jones. So when Chris is out there, then things can be shifted attention wise over to him, and that'll open things up for these guys. So I think right now if you're asking me just if we were going out there to play a game tomorrow and who was the guy that I would want to put inside most consistently to get after the passer, it would be Jared Tillery, based on what I saw in preseason week 1. So good thing for Tillery, and we'll see how it progresses as we get close to the season.
Yes. Oh, was you about to say something, Trey?
Oh, I was just saying I agree. I mean, it's just, again, I mean, the thing about it is if you have a veteran on practice squad, it's not a bad thing. It's kind of like when we had Robert Tonyan on practice squad. Like, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It wasn't necessarily like Robert Tonyan didn't belong. It's just when you have some type of depth at that position, it's good to have a veteran in the presence. It doesn't matter if he's on the 53 or the practice squad. A guy who can help these younger guys, give them a little bit more of an edge. I mean, it's a positive thing in my book.
Yeah, and I heard D-Mac mention Omar Norman a lot, because it's kind of interesting because I know Seth Kaiser on Only Weird Games, he addressed that a little bit, talking about you see these reports about him getting snaps with the first team and all that, but we didn't really see like no video of him really doing anything. And that's why I asked y'all, like, for those who I mean, not necessarily y'all, but for those who did go to camp, like, how he really looked. And then Country was like, he was just cool. Nothing, like, he didn't make no big spectacular plays, but he was straight. Last night, it was okay. I say it was okay. I mean, what did you think, D-Mac? 'Cause I know I saw you tweet about him a little bit. As far
I
as
thought it was bad.
what
I thought it was bad. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, and I loved Omar Norman a lot as a day 2 defensive tackle prospect. What he was able to bring to the table to Tennessee, being a really impactful rusher and disruptive. I thought it was bad. Like, and again, this is all in the context of he apparently has bulked up. They said he's added somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 pounds since he was drafted here. They want to apparently use him more as a 3-down player. Great. But I'm concerned because the player that I saw on tape, it did not look like he was athletic and having that really first step quickness to me that made him really good as a disruptor at Tennessee. And obviously jumping to the NFL is always going to bring a different type of, athleticism level that you're competing against as far as offensive linemen. But he was doing it in the SEC. So it's not like it's the closest possible gap as far as that is concerned. And I just didn't see it. So I'm concerned as far as that's concerned. Now, look, we know he's been dealing with an ankle issue as far as throughout camp and trying to get back from that. So hopefully this is more of a, hey, he's just trying to get himself back into, explosive shape because of the ankle issue. From that standpoint, that's really the big thing as far as that's concerned. But I didn't like what I saw. Now, this is just me talking about him as a pass rusher because, to me, again, this is the reason why he got drafted in the second round. And the biggest thing that we need him to do is to be impactful as a pass rusher next to Chris Jones. And again, next to Chris Jones being an operable aspect of it, because obviously we didn't get to see that. He was fine in the run. I thought that the improved size helped him. He stood up to a few double teams well. I don't think that he was a wrecking ball in the run from that aspect, but like, I don't need him to be a bigger nose tech possible guy to be a run stuffer next to Chris Jones. I just don't need that. I'm sorry. You can get Fabian Lovett or get somebody off the street when it comes time if you want somebody to do those things. I need him to be a disruptive pass rusher, and I just did not see that in any way, shape, or form. And again, preseason week 1, so plenty of time still to show otherwise. We'll see. Again, a little bit healthier, hopefully, in a week. And as things progress, but I would say that was probably the most concerning thing coming out of week 1, because that is a real opportunity for this team to add pass rush juice next to Chris Jones, that if they bulked up and then changed him into a worse pass rusher is going to be a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was just looking at it, and I honestly looked at it from the same perspective. I didn't know nothing about the weight gain. Me watching him,
you can see him.
You can see it, yeah.
He looks like a bigger player for sure.
Yeah, and it's not a good thing to see, because one of the biggest things about him at Tennessee is that he's very explosive, and he's a guy that can get off the ball quickly. If he's on the ground, he can get up and get downfield quickly. And the thing about it is it didn't look like that. It seemed like as soon as he came off the block, it was slow getting to the ball. Yeah, it just, unless it was right in front of him, you're going to get beat in the phone booth. I'm hoping that maybe it was just something like either like what you said, Maggie, if it's just the ankle or if he's just getting accustomed to this new weight. But it's not good having him look like, oh my, this guy's so much slower, because we need guys who are quick off the ball. We need guys who can win their one-on-one matchup. I'm not expecting a whole bunch of speed rushers now, but I want guys who can definitely come off the ball and definitely cause pressure quickly. Because I can't have another situation where our corners have to guard 3 to 5 to 6 seconds later on in the play because our D-line can't get home. He was meh, and I felt like, especially seeing the matchups that he was going with, he should have won probably about 45 to 50% of his snaps. And the fact that I didn't see that, it raises some question to me. So.
Yeah, because I was about to mention he picked up 20 pounds in the off season, I guess, to just get acclimated with the bodies he's gonna be going up against in the National Football League. And I was definitely gonna ask, is he still kind of trying to adjust to the new weight? And you think that's kind of affecting him a little bit as far as being protected?
I hope not, because again, that's a mistake in my opinion. If you added weight, because Tershawn Wharton wasn't 320 pounds when he played here last year, making an impact. You can get by with being 300, 295 as far as a defensive tackle in the National Football League, especially in the case of a Omar Norman-Lott, where you expect that this is a guy that is going to be a rotational snap guy. He doesn't necessarily have to be a starting defensive tackle for you, because you can have other guys do that, even though the defensive tackle room is thin. You got Mike Pennell. He's there. He can be the run stopper on early downs. He's there for it. If you want to keep Fabian Lovett to have a backup there to do that too, cool. He's there to do that. You don't need to do this to Omar Norman-Lott, but you've done it now. And if he's adjusting to the weight and it's not an ankle issue, or it's not just hey, this is your first time out and you're getting accustomed to things this year and you're maybe overthinking things a little bit, then I'm concerned, because you messed up the draft pick then. If you turn this guy into an early down run stuffer, you could have taken any number of defensive tackles later on in the draft and gotten that value, in my opinion, then you should have taken him. And if you wanted a guy that had more of a 3-down profile, but also was able to, at a 3-down profile weight, still be able to get after the passer, you could have taken, he just jumped out of my head. Who's the kid that went to the Giants right after we took him? It's not Darius Robinson. What's his name? I'm going to look it up. But there were other guys that they could have taken, in my opinion, if they wanted to have that type of aspect. The thing that made Omar Norman-Lott, in my personal opinion, a prospect that was worthy of taking in the second round that really can come in and make an impact was his pass rush juice. And if the weight is the thing that takes that away from him, then that's a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was pretty high on the kid too. We'll see what happens, man. Like we've been saying this entire episode, is preseason game 1. Things could change the next game for him. So that's be better.
Darius Alexander is his name.
Yeah, to Toledo. Yeah,
to Toledo. I didn't see how they play. I know the Giants destroyed that offensive line for wherever they played in preseason. I'll say that, because
the Bills.
The Bills. Abdul Carter was destroying Deion Dawkins. Shout out to Abdul Carter. But I didn't get to see how Darius Alexander looked. But again, if you wanted a guy that was a little bit more in the 3-down mold, that still also had the playing weight to get after the passer and showed it on tape, that would be my answer that you should have gone with, than trying to pigeonhole Omar Norman-Lott into doing that. But again, I want to be clear. I'm not writing the book on the kid. I want to make sure that we give him proper time here to try and make an impact, and we see how things progress.
Yeah, so about the Giants, man. I can't wait till we get to our predictions on the schedule, because I got some things to say about that particular matchup that y'all gonna be pretty shocked about. So
I assume that you can take the Giants to win the game then? That's what you say.
They actually got a chance. I'm just gonna say
they
actually got a chance.
Anybody's got a chance. I mean, we win, what's it called? We had to have a fumble recovery against the Raiders, so anything is possible. They have a chance. And their defensive line is going to be an issue for sure. But yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I meant to touch on this guy earlier because he was tapping into the offense earlier. Tyquan Thornton, he's been like the training camp star throughout his entire NFL career. I mean, Patriots fans have told me and a few other Chiefs fans about, don't fall for it with the training camp stuff, because he's gonna be different in the game. He's not gonna show up in the game and all this other stuff. But for what I saw, I like what I saw out of Tyquan, man. I mean, what did y'all think about Tyquan's performance last night? And that little celly he did was pretty cold too. Little Spider
Yeah,
Man stuff. The
that's
catch.
the most important thing. He's been initiated into the wide receiver room with the Spider-Man celebration. He's unlocked that as a part of his ability. So that's the most important thing. But I thought that he played well. I thought that even in, obviously you saw the corner route that he was able to catch from Gardner Minshew out of the bunch stack going against Buda Baker. That was a really nice route. But you also saw the speed down the field, kind of playing on the outside, getting some press man coverage, getting off of that. He honestly got open, but it was just overthrown as well down the field. So
Yeah, that was when Zappy was in the game because I definitely remember that. I'm like, Bailey, you got to hit that, bro. You gotta step on him.
yeah, and I think that both him and Jalen Royals, because I watched all the Jalen Royals snaps, there were times in which Jalen Royals was getting open versus, the coverage as far as that's concerned, and Bailey Zappi just wasn't necessarily looking at him too, which I think is exactly what you want to see for a fourth rounder going against, those third and fourth stringers. So I think both of them had really good showings. Tyquan Thornton seems like he's asserted himself as somebody that will be on this roster, and his skill set is very specific, but it is a needed one of bringing speed down the field and being able to create some separation as well. You talk about obviously the issues with injuries that we've had with Hollywood Brown, which is kind of a main feature of what he can bring, but Tyquan Thornton being a little bit bigger body to bring that is very good. So I think I tweeted out the other day, like if Tyquan Thornton can just be a better version of Justin Watson, which in my opinion is completely within reach, then that's a really important, or I won't say important, but a really good pickup for this team to be able to add to their wide receiver room.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and people gonna think that I'm wrong, or they gonna think that I'm crazy for it. I wanted Tyquan when we drafted Scott Moore. I'm gonna keep it on with y'all. That's who I really wanted because I was like a guy from Baylor. Of course, watching Big 12 football, there's a guy who was a vertical threat that I think that has shown a lot of promise, and that was the guy I kind of wanted there because I'm like I don't know if I can go another year of MVS, but that was kind of the guy that I wanted. I kind of wanted a vertical threat. I wanted a guy who I felt like could high point the ball occasionally. And I'm glad that he's been able to, because I saw him joking around with Juju and all that. It's good to know that he's built up a good rapport with these guys. I think that it's just watching him play. I love the fact that his demeanor of the next play mentality, which I think not a lot of receivers, especially at this current position of where they're at in their careers, some of their players they'd be like, oh, these might want to be one of my final reps ever, for this team. I didn't take advantage of it. Instead, he said, hey, no, let me keep on going. I definitely like that post move. I like that post route that he did. That was probably one of the best plays that we had after Patrick Mahomes. I think that he did a great job. I mean, like, look, people are going to look at it and say 3 targets and only 1 catch. But knowing the fact that you got a press corner guy like Will Johnson on you on the slant route, I mean, he's going to be really good for him. Being able to do what you did to Buda Baker. Buda Baker is a very respected veteran safety in this league. So
he's
being
a star safety in this league.
Star safety. Yeah, very respectable star safety in this league. And then being able to get up there, I mean, if Gardner puts a better ball on that, that's potentially a touchdown. So he can cause separation. He's a guy who can really do it all. And then again, yeah, if he can be in the Justin Watson role where he can be a reliable third down target, he's going to make our offense a lot better. And he's going to make a guy that be like, if I know that I can put you on a post route, put you on a post dig, put you on a curl, comeback, whatever the case may be, and you're able to create separation, get yards after catch, I'm good with it. So it was delightful to see. I'm glad glad the fact that he was able to back up what he had in training camp with a decent showing for preseason. I mean, my only thing is can you do it again? A lot of the guys, just like a lot of these receivers, can you continuously be repetitive? Can you be consistent? That's kind of where it goes from. So very happy with Taekwon. Very happy. I mean, he was one of the guys that I was very excited that I was happy to see. But yeah, I mean, keep it going.
Yeah, it's Blake's comment. It's very rare you see the fade ball with this Chiefs offense. Very rare. So that was good to see there.
Yeah,
But
that's not a play that Andy likes to throw into the regular
Right.
season on a
Yeah,
consistent
no,
basis. But Mahomes put it on the money. He put it. That was the very definition of putting it where only your wide receiver could catch it because there was no chance that DB could get out there. And Brownlee made a very nice play on that ball. So that was good to see.
Yeah, seeing the outside quarterbacks usually put that on their inside shoulder, and that's usually how it gets intercepted. For the fact that he put on that outside shoulder, trusting in that wingspan, that makes a lot of noise.
And D-Mac, I'm glad you brought up Jalen Royals earlier because that was the next guy I was going to bring up.
Great guy.
I'm interested to see what his actual role is going to be while Rasheed is going to be out for whatever amount of games to start the year.
Yeah, and I had sorry, no, go ahead, finish your thing.
Yeah, because I think he kind of got that prototype to where you can put him in the game in certain situations and do what Rasheed does. I mean, that's if you're not trusting Juju all the way. You know what I'm saying? As far as like being in the slot, attacking the middle of the field and everything. So.
Yeah, so I had charted his snaps. He basically split. He was about 6 snaps outside, 7 in the slot. Had some bunch and stack, opportunities too. The ability for him to do some different things. I thought that you talk about the Rashee Rice aspect of it. The thing that stuck out to me on that little bubble that he caught, he got skinny in between the blocks and was able to create some yards after the catch, which is exactly what you want to see. The big thing that I wanted to watch is that, versus some of the NFL level DBs, where is his, ability to eat up space as far as that's concerned, his stride. It was really good, in my opinion, as far as the vertical stem of his route to be able to get up quickly on DBs and then either accelerate past them or be able to threaten them enough to decelerate and catch the ball. And we saw it on this one catch where he was able to quickly get up on the safety's heels and then decelerate very quickly, turn back to the ball, catch it for that first down. So I was happy for what I saw from Jalen Royals, and I think to your point, being able to do some of the Rashee Rice stuff early on. First time out, I think he showed the versatility necessary to continue to work on that. And so I think the wide receiver aspect of this is where it's going to be very interesting to see what it looks like next week. Because obviously Xavier Worthy was out there. Rashee Rice obviously wasn't because of the groin, which they should be cautious with for understandable reasons. Hollywood Brown was not out there due to the ankle he's come back to. If we see both of those guys back for week 2, then there's going to be limited opportunities. If both of those guys stay out, even if they practice during the week, which I don't think would be the worst thing in the world, then do you see the aspect of, hey, we're getting what wide receivers work with the one team? Obviously, we saw Jason Brownlee get some work there. How much does Jalen Royals and Tyquan Thornton play with the number ones in an aspect of, hey, we're putting Patrick Mahomes out there for multiple series? It's going to be interesting. It certainly seems like Tyquan Thornton has some Mahomes trust. Jalen Royals is getting there. So, what that rotation looks like next week, if there are opportunities for them to be in there, or if Rashee Rice and / or Hollywood Brown are out for next week, is going to be the most fascinating thing. But both of those guys, good start to the preseason.
Yeah. I definitely loved it because I was like, oh, shit, he's going in motion. And then he comes right back and being able to come on the comeback route. I mean, dude, if he's able to really get a good concept of his own coverage, he's going to be a guy that Mahomes is definitely going to look forward to and going to try and find in the middle of that space. I like what we've seen. I didn't know nothing about the snap count. I really haven't taken a look. But for what I've saw him to do is like being able to see him being acclimated into the offense and continuously letting him get reps, getting him a little bit of a feel with the offense. I mean, you got to keep the more reps, the better. So I love the fact that he did it. I love the fact that he got a little bit of a shine, get a little first down, get a little bit of confidence underneath him. It's very pivotal when it comes to getting the rookie. When it comes to getting the rookie, being able to implement them correctly and as well as work towards the strong suits, I think that we did a very good job.
Yeah, and D-Mac, and you hit on it, man. Versatility, man. Versatility is definitely an important thing with the wide receiver, especially with the situation that we're going into the first season. So, through this first week. I mean, so far so good in my eyes. So just gotta see continue and see you guys improve, and then Coach Staff's gonna have some decisions to make. But there are some negatives, of course. I mean, Sky Moore, man. I mean, is it pretty much a wrap with Sky at this point? Because I remember him missing a block. Trying to think, was it a wide receiver screen or was it a run play? I can't remember exactly, but I know he missed a block that he should have made on the outside.
Yeah, Royals did.
No,
Sky missed the block.
Yeah, it was on Royals' first screen, I believe.
Yeah, okay,
the bubble
yeah.
later on. But
right.
Yeah, he missed the block, which Royals could have created another opportunity to get some yards there, but that play was blown up immediately afterwards.
Yeah, all right, y'all. Y'all gotta keep on. Yeah, Sky is there hasn't been enough of improvement for what I've seen from him. It just seems like as if they're really okay, but you ain't got to do that, bro. The thing about it is that Sky hasn't shown any type of improvement. I'm not gonna be a guy who's gonna shit on a kid. So I mean, if y'all want to, if everybody else wants to do it, cool. I'm not gonna shit on a kid. It's a matter of he just doesn't fit our scheme. I think that as a third-year guy and being able, and you're working with a third team, you didn't really get that many snaps in preseason. That's not a good thing to have, especially you had a punt return and I don't get one for like 3 yards. That it's time to call it what it is. I don't think that. Yeah, I think that Sky is honestly he's on the out. He's outside of the club looking in, and I don't think that he's gonna get let in. Honestly, I just don't. I think that where it is Elijah Badger in my eyes looked a lot better than him. I think a lot of these guys, a lot of these younger guys who just got in, they not only have more opportunities, but they look better in those opportunities than once got in a limited capacity. It is what it is. So I wish him nothing but the best, but it's not looking good for him.
I think that we had or at least in my mind, there was a question of going into this, like who's going to be able to take over the wide receiver 6 spot, and I already thought that Sky Moore was going to be working from behind because of the return ability that Nico Remigio had, from that standpoint. I think now we've shifted that conversation to where there's no competition for him to try and get on this roster. He may not even make it to the practice squad at this point.
Yeah, seeing how Nico returned that ball, that was enough in itself. Like Nico on that punt on that kickoff return, I said, that just solidified it.
Amber Short-Smith had a nice block on that play, by the way. I know he got flagged. He got flagged for an illegal double team block, which I didn't necessarily realize was a rule until that happened. But I think that's just he's a young guy, and this is the first time actually doing the kickoff, so he's got to learn that rule. But he actually he was a willing blocker, in my opinion, on the kick return. So I think that he can. Rashard Smith as a back return partner with Nico Remigio, I think will make sense for this upcoming season ultimately.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't really see a spot where you can say there's a reason we got to keep Sky on this team. Like blocking capacity, clearly he fucked that up. Return, he's never been a return guy. It's bad when the announcers are sitting over here getting you confused with I keep forgetting his name, the kid from Valdosta.
Magdalena.
Yeah, Magdalena.
Fresno State.
Fresno, Valdosta, doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't really matter.
It's the same.
Yeah, same thing.
They all look alike.
Yeah,
they're just on two completely.
I did not say that.
The two most opposite time zones.
Right, the two most opposite, and then both one's D1, the other one's D2. Great. But no,
is he from Valdosta? Is that usually from Valdosta?
Know.
Is that the reason why you have it stuck in your head?
No, the announcers they said it. They said, this is Magdalena from Valdosta. I was like,
no, he's definitely from Fresno.
Yeah.
Funny. All right.
But I honestly, I'm as much as I try to help out and try to say that, hey, maybe it was just a one-time thing, that it just looks like he's kind of given up and he's just accepted his role, and whatever happens to him happens. but it's not a good thing. The fact that you're a former second round pick and you're fighting for a job.
Yep, I mean, simple as that, man. Like in your third year, you still got a lot to work on me
You're-
with the team.
And you're already, it's crazy, Chuck. Like you're a third year second round pick, and you're in a battle with UDFAs and late round picks
And losing the battle.
and losing them.
Hey, but hey, I would say, hey, listen, I'm rooting for him to get another shot. And
Look, go like to LA. You see D-Rob is getting a little bit more shine now. That's why he's in San Fran. Go find what if you want to go spend time in Pittsburgh, because a lot of people want to talk about it and say, "Oh, we went to no." If you wherever his heart takes him, if it can help him become a better player, by all means. But it's just like currently in this state of matter, you're looking from the outside, and there's a really good chance that you get cut from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, simple as that. And you brought up Rashard Smith, D-Mac. Speaking of versatility, Rashard definitely put that on display last night. Despite the questionable penalty on the kickoff return, but you see his ability to be a third down back. He still got ways to go, but you saw a little bit of what he could do out there last night. Going to the season, man. Like, when do you guys think his role will expand on this team?
It depends. Again, I don't think we're going to see anything really during the preseason because I think he is really a package player. So I thought that he was when I was actually I'll pull it up just to double check my notes as well. But like I thought that he was fine when he ran the ball. Some people, he maybe missed a cutback lane one time, but ultimately I don't think it was anything crazy. I don't think the offensive line created a lot of movement for him necessarily from that standpoint. And then he did pick up a blitzer really well as far as his pass protection rep that he was able to show off on. And he was dusting the linebackers when he got the opportunity to. So that was also a good thing. So like, I don't know how big his role is really ultimately going to be here. I think that he has an ability to be a package player that Andy Reid can put to use, but we'll see how much he's put to use. But I mean, it is what it is. I think that Pacheco is in his role right now as an early down guy, and Kareem Hunt is kind of the short yardage and occasional third down back guy as well. And we'll see how much he ends up getting used and what Elijah Mitchell can continue to use as well.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I've never seen a guy at 5'10" be so willing to block, especially in pass coverage. Because it's like no disrespect to Clyde, but
Jet did it.
Jet did it. Yeah, Jet did it. And then, but the thing about it is like Clyde, maybe not so much. But I mean, the fact that we got a guy like Rashard Smith who is willing to motion, come in, add that extra chip, add that extra protection, so Mahomes can get that half a second, because we know that even a quarter, half, 3/4 of a second, that's a big play. That's almost a big play point. So I mean, I love the fact that he was willing to do that. Had a little bit of chance of get a little bit of burn. But I think that as time goes on, he's going to be used a little bit more frequently, not only in the pass game, but potentially in the run game as well. So I wouldn't say, I don't think this is going to happen as early, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about maybe mid to late November that Rashard Smith is getting a little bit more frequent snaps.
Yep. And then I saw in the comments earlier, Ruben shouted, he brought up Elijah Mitchell, and he said he was concerned about Elijah. I mean, what was your thoughts on Elijah, getting this first game action back, from coming from another ACL injury?
He looked explosive to me. I mean, the kid, and what I saw from the couple of runs that he did just fine. I mean, he showed some of that explosiveness that I saw that he had at San Francisco. I mean, my whole thing about it is I need to make sure that you're staying healthy, because that's the thing about it. Is like in as many years of him in San Francisco, he's been that kind of guy who's like, hey, he can average about 3 to 4 yards a carry. It's just about him continuously being able to stay healthy, stay consistent, and whatnot. I mean, he looked fine in my eyes. I don't think that we used him a lot in the pass game. I think that in the run game, he did what I needed him to do. I mean, it's a loaded room. I was more ecstatic about seeing what I saw from Isaiah Pacheco than if I saw any deficiencies from Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, I Mitchell looked fine. I'll wait until we get further into the preseason to really make any judgments there. So, but Pacheco looked like his old self, which is nice to see. And again, we'll continue to see how things go as far as we get deeper into preseason.
Yeah, Elijah had like a decent 7-8 yard run.
Yeah.
He looked pretty explosive, everything.
And
But,
he looked like he was having fun. So that's one of the main things.
right. Just with him, I mean, we've been seeing it all season. Like, is he gonna stay healthy? So he even make somewhat of a contribution, whatever role he's gonna be placed in on this team. And then Blake, let's talk about Bob Tonyan, man. Bob Tonyan. Speaking of guys that bouncing back from injuries, the past few seasons, Bob Tonyan, he looking like the veteran wide receiver that we knew in Green Bay kind of last night. So does he got tight end 3 locked down?
Yeah, I think so. And this isn't a disrespect or a writing off of Jared Wiley or Jake Brenningstool, but he didn't look like a 31-year-old out there. That he can block, but he is what they need as far as being able to be an inline tight end, and then also brought a little bit of juice as a pass catcher. He caught that little drag underneath and was able to create some things after the catch. I thought he was running routes well, so I was encouraged by Bob Tonyan's performance, and I think that he is the leader in the clubhouse right now as far as tight end 3. Jared Wiley, I thought actually showed some things as being able to block, pretty well as you got into the 3rd and 4th stringers, which was nice to see. And so if they want to keep 4 tight ends and Jared Wiley makes the roster, then I could see that making sense. I think ultimately they will keep 4 tight ends because they don't want to cut Jared Wiley because he is obviously still a second-year rookie. But I think Jake Brenningstool is probably going to be headed to practice squad. But shout out to Bob Tonyan, man. It made an impact, and I liked what I saw from him.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool because, like I said, my boss was like, "Hey, ain't that the tight end from Green Bay?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, years later, he's doing the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? He's showing some explosiveness, his pass catching ability. Not just that drag route. I think it was a medium crosser he made, across the field, and he was able to get a few first downs. Like, I was sitting over there like, damn, is he about to be the leading receiver in our fucking pass game? But that's not a bad thing in general because it's like when you're sitting over here and you're looking at it as a veteran, the only other veteran that's in your wide receiver, I guess you can call Noah Gray a veteran. You got 3 guys who have a good amount of experience. I think that his showing yesterday showed a lot, and I think that he's got a really good case of being a tight end 3. Now, I didn't really want to pressure Jared Wiley to even be tight end 3 to begin with because it's like when it comes, me and injuries, I don't, if a kid is fresh off of it or he's just not getting back into it, I don't want to ever take a chance of getting it re-aggravating it. So, I mean, whatever it does to make our tight end room even more effective, by all means. I mean, we know Noah Gray, he's got the ability to be a pass catcher as well as a blocker. Not, having more things that complement each other, the better. But I mean, yeah, Tonyan has definitely made a good case for tight end 3.
Yeah, and like moving forward, as far as like Jared Wiley and Bristol, like you mentioned, Jared Wiley, he's also just getting back into it from injury as well. Bristol, he hasn't practiced in a little while, and with me, I just wonder if the Chiefs can find some type of way to protect them from getting snatched up and when you go through like the waivers and all that.
Well, I mean, look, if he can, it is important to say like he was a UDFA. He's obviously got hurt during the training camp. So if he's in a situation where he's got to get cut and brought back to the practice squad, I think there's a pretty good chance that he's going to clear waivers and we can make that happen. But again, there's 2 more preseason games to get through, so we'll see from that aspect.
Yeah, because I would love to have that kid for the future.
Yeah, man, and continue development. I think he's a good tight end to have on the practice squad. Obviously, we've gone through some situations where these guys have gotten hurt and had some issues. So if you can keep Jake around on the practice squad, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But Chris is funny except for that Carson Steele comment. I'll say that Carson Steele, he did come in and run hard. He ran hard. Still, Carson put in that effort doing his thing last night.
That man hopped over a D lineman. I said, "Oh shit." I said, "Oh shit! Oh, he trying to come and take somebody's job."
Of course, D-Man not gonna say anything. He just gonna
let it don't tell these. Look, don't let me know that you said that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I just don't know if we keep a fullback this time. I don't think a fullback is going to be a part of our offense this
I think
season.
Sherm is the one Chief that's going to say they played fullback. I don't think that there's a situation where Carson Steele's going to be. I think that we've seen Andy really grow away from having a tight end. I mean, from being a fullback, because at first we had Sherm. Then after Sherm, we had a tight end. And then after we had a tight end, we just kind of let it go. Wait, no, hold on. We had Sherm, then we had Mike Burton, then we had a tight end. So, yeah. I mean, it's just.
I don't know. Again, it all depends on what the it's going to come. Don't worry. What the roster numbers end up coming out, and we're going to end up, doing a 53-man roster refresh as far as on Tell the Truth this on Tuesday. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, do they get them on there? Yeah, it's going to be tough. They want to keep 6 wide receivers ultimately because of what we're seeing from Taekwon and Nico Remigio makes sense. Keep 4 tight ends to keep Tunyon and Wiley. Then all of a sudden it starts getting tough to see yourself then keeping, because you think Brashard Smith's going to be there for the special teams value that at least he can bring and being a practice player. Then it gets really tight to keep 5 running backs on top of that. You got to sacrifice somewhere. So we'll see. We'll see if they can make it happen.
Yeah, I don't think it happens. Like if I don't know where we're going to keep 5 running backs. We don't think we're going to get 6 wide receivers, and damn sure not going to have 5 running backs. So.
Yeah. So we just about covered everybody we saw last night. We know Harrison Bucker.
Yeah. Well, I was
strong leg.
We do have to mention Matt Ariza had really good placement on 2 of his punts. Obviously the one got down inside the 5. So shout out to Matt Ariza. He obviously flipped the field on that really long punt, which is a weapon that he had in his game last year. But the big thing, because he wasn't a good punter last year, is can he get better at the placement and being able to pin teams, and that was a good thing to see as well. Najee Johnson, I thought, was up and down. Joshua Williams had good
snaps. Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, Joshua Williams had good snaps, but ultimately, like, he's still on the wrong side of the bubble. He's got to stack some really good snaps, or some really, really good snaps, I guess, to try and find him stay on the right side, in my personal opinion as well. I'm trying to think of, and we mentioned Esapoli, who I thought was really good.
Yeah,
so.
we did.
I don't think I was here for Noel.
Now, we can mention Noah Williams too, who I thought played well, and as far as the boundary corner was concerned, looked how I kind of expected him to, and that rotation is going to be fascinating to see how that progresses.
And now I do want to talk about Najee, like the touchdown that was giving up to Xavier Weaver, right? I'll give Najee credit in this matter. He got beat off the line originally, but he did a nice job recovering. It's just that when he got his arm in there, it wasn't enough. He wasn't strong enough to pluck the ball out. You know what I'm saying? Xavier's just stronger and hold on to the rock. So, I mean, I ain't going to get on Najee tough for that, because he at least got back to the play.
Yeah, if you want to complain about Najee, that's just because you have a vendetta against Najee. I don't think that.
It seems like a lot of people have a vendetta against Najee.
A lot of people.
Well, I don't want to, like, I am somebody that has defended Najee from the standpoint of this. Like, I think that he's being played at the wrong position. He is, not a good corner. That is, you have to acknowledge that. That is something that you have to acknowledge as part of the conversation.
Yeah, because he was drafted as a safety.
He's a safety. So, yeah. But I'm not going to sit over here and be like, oh my God, this guy is absolute garbage. He needs to play in the CFL. No, I'm not one of those. I do agree, because, I mean, like, Xavier Weaver got some strong ass hands. Like the kid, if it's here, it's Weaver's. That's the reason why Arizona kept him to begin with, is because they wanted to add a little bit more versatility to it. And I mean, he's a guy who's people follows him as an unproven Colorado guy, and he's really trying to make a name of his own. So I'm not really mad at Najee for his coverage on Xavier Weaver. I'll just say that that's more of a great ass catch by Xavier, more than that was horrible defense by Najee. But I do agree.
He was just a tick late on being able to make the pass breakup, but he had he did have a good pass breakup down the field later on in the game as well that Brian Cook almost picked off too. So again, up and down snaps. Ultimately, I think that he has a place on this roster because of the special teams value that he brings to the table. And that's something to mention. Also, shout out to the Colorado wide receivers, man. Saw some Jimmy Horn snaps that were good. LeJontay West, obviously, Xavier, I just completely messed up.
Xavier Weaver.
Xavier Weaver obviously made the touchdown catch, and then LeJohntay Rester had some good catches.
Hey, Wester had a ball, boy.
He did. I see Blake asking some questions. Jalen Moore.
Oh, my fault. I was about to bring that up too.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
My
I thought that he played well as far as the right tackle snaps I saw because he came in for Jawan Taylor with that still first team offense technically that they put out there with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. I thought he played well. I haven't gone back and charted his snaps specifically. I want to do that, but I thought he played well. FAU. He was good against the run. Didn't give me anything as far as pass rush juice is concerned, which was disappointing. I think Chris Roland Wallace, they want to play both at corner and safety at this current moment in time, at least, because he showed some flashes as far as nickel was concerned, but they're getting him safety reps too, because I think that they are concerned about some of the things that they see in the safety room, which just move Shamari Connor to the safety room. That would help. But,
It's literally all you have to do. It's literally.
I mean, I guess we're easier saying it, done it. All right, let me go ahead and say this real quick about Felix. I think that, yes, he did. He was showing a lot of improvements on the run game. I don't like the fact that he's standing around as much. Is like for me, I think it's a bit of a question mark. The fact that it's a hard time for him to follow the ball. Now I do understand that he's got his own matchups that he's got to do, but I mean, like, it looks like sometimes he's a little bit standoffish. He's late to get into the ball. He's late to try and do a rally tackle. Like it's. I mean, the consistency. That's what we've been trying to see out of Felix. And I don't know if we've really been able to see it from him. It's like he'll show flashes, he'll continuously show flashes, but the consistency just is not there. I don't see it. I don't like the fact that he's not there, but he's got to, from my eyes, he's got to do better.
Yeah.
And then two Blake's
go ahead.
From my perspective, Jalen Moore, he looks like a guy that you can trust in these situations. Like this might get whether Jawan Taylor get hurt or Keith get hurt or a guy willing. Knock on wood, Josh Simmons get hurt. I think Jalen Moore can fill in and step up and we'll still be just fine.
I think it'll be
my opinion.
Yeah.
I got two things before I have to run. I don't know, Chuck, if we're gonna wrap it up completely though.
Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I just want to say Cardinals, the worst combination of jersey numbers as far as their defense is concerned. We got 24s playing linebacker, we got 2s playing linebacker. Just awful. 5s playing edge rusher. Just
hey, the NFL wanted this, man. They wanted to copy out college.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't had this issue personally, like the first few years that we've dealt with it, but just going and watching this preseason game back from an all 22 perspective, so annoying. Zaven Collins with 26 rushing. Get out of here with that foolishness. That was so annoying to watch. The other thing,
I was going to say, we got a DB and a safety who wore 47 and 42.
Just disgusting, man. So terrible. This is the biggest. That is the biggest old head thing that I have to say as far as that is concerned. Like that, I don't know why it struck me so much out of this matchup, but oh my god, I was so tired of it by the end of charting these things. The other thing is they put this on the broadcast last night, so I wanted to show it on the screen. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes, who was 1-for-1, perfect in the preseason, with his only passing attempt being a touchdown. And they showed his comparison to Brady Manning and Rodgers through first 7 seasons, which of course he's better than all of them.
I was trying to see what his QBR was.
Oh yeah, we can do that because apparently this has been a big refrain as well. Justin Simmons doesn't want to be here. He made that abundantly clear when they asked him about coming to Kansas City first.
Yeah,
second,
like, why we keep talking about it? Like, let's move on.
If you were to sign Justin Simmons, it would be a signal that you don't trust Brian Cook as a starting safety because he would be your starter next to Jaden Hicks automatically from that aspect, and that's not where they're at now. Do they want to try and bring in a depth safety? I don't know. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world after obviously Deion Bush going down, and I still don't think signing a veteran corner because there are useful guys out there isn't the worst thing in the world either. But the whole Justin Simmons thing that got bandied about on Chiefs Twitter after this game, it's foolishness in my personal opinion because it's unrealistic on multiple fronts.
Yeah, I don't think that even if we did give him a real deal contract, I don't think he'll sign it because I think that honestly he would be one of the first guys who wouldn't even last a full week and want to get cut. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm no Daniel Sorensen either. I'm cool on him too.
Man, they gotta be trolling. They was trolling.
Yeah,
That
bro.
was,
They
that was a
trolling.
troll. That was a troll. That was a troll.
Yeah. But adding Justin Simmons, I mean, you're Justin Simmons wants and his desires and Deion Bush's are completely different. Justin is still wanting to show that he still has it. Deion is just kind of more of acceptance of what his role is because he's just been known to be that. You don't want to put him in that situation because then you're gonna have Brian Cook, Jaden Hicks, Mike Edwards, and Justin Simmons all trying to figure out how in the world they can be starters, and we just rotating safeties like that a lot. It's not good. It's not a good recipe in my eyes.
And like here's the strange part about Justin Simmons because I feel like here's some of my thoughts. One, I feel like he's just not trying to go through training camp. That's one of my thoughts with that situation. Two, he's looking to get paid his worth because like 2 years ago he was just second team All Pro and I think he's done that 4 times in his career.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that.
He's
And as D-Mac mentioned, like that interview with Kay Adams, like he doesn't want to come here. He wants to beat us. And that's just how he looks at it.
even his most recent one, he was like, I mean, it'll be hard for me to turn it down. He didn't say, "Oh no, I'm definitely gonna sign it." Like, no, bro. Justin Simmons is a former Denver Bronco. The Broncos were designed and they were installed to absolutely hate our guts, to hate our fans, to hate that's what they were trying to do. Justin Simmons is known as the guy who has picked off Mahomes the most in his career. So I think it would be weird for him to even try to join. And I'm gonna shut you down on that one, Blake. Tyron's retired. I saw that everybody and their mom saw playing last series.
Yeah, Tyron's not coming back. He's good.
Tyron's pretty content with his career.
He's content. He's ready to be a coach.
Yeah, I think that's done with. But yeah, Justin Simmons. I mean, that's out the window. But I think I expect somebody to do sign him. Like the training camp is done with for all these teams. I think somebody will bring him in for a workout and then try to work Burns out from there. But
I would love him in New York with the Jets, honestly, because I think the Jets. I like the new coach. I like the fact that he's sitting over there and he's doing something that Robert Saleh never did, which is hold his own teammates, no matter his own players accountable. I mean, people think that everybody else. You got to understand, in a preseason game, you're treating it like this could be your last game of the season. Like that adds a lot of rapport. So I mean, like for me, the Jets are doing a great job. If they need safety help, I think they will contact like Justin Simmons.
All right, so yeah, D made that announced. But I'm gonna go ahead and pay these bills real quick. We're gonna get up out of here. Shout out to people on Underdog Fantasy. If you don't have the app, download it at Google Play, Apple Store. Use that promo code KingdomCast, all in one word. You get up to $1,000 in bonus credits with your first deposit. So again, if you haven't tried the app, want to download it, give it a shot. Football season right around the corner. They got props up right now for the regular season, and they definitely have props up for week 1. So yeah, download Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KingdomCast, all in one word.
I mean, help us out a little bit. Like, if you're trying to go ahead and make you a little couple dollars in your little change, you know what I'm saying? At least add a little code in there, get us a little bit, man. Like, go ahead and take that pat him on passing yard. Go ahead, but no, honestly, it's a good site. It's always gonna offer you. Shout out Underdog. They always, they're gonna offer you bets. They offered me and Chuck $5 for preseason. We don't have a bet on preseason, but hey, when they give you $5, you're gonna sit over there and tell them no, it's not your $5. I mean, you might as well. But yeah.
That was for everybody though.
That was for everybody, man. So that's even more. It's like, hey, you want to go ahead and use this $5 and bet on a little preseason game? No harm, no foul. Go ahead. But no, it's a good thing.
Yep. So with that being said, man, that's going to conclude today's episode. Wrapping up, giving us our recap of the preseason game for last night between the Chiefs and the Cardinals. It's on week 2 against the Seahawks. So
Hey,
that
we got
be,
a lot. Don't what episodes? We got what? Tell the truth tomorrow or Tuesday?
yep. Tell the truth Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
Red shirt. Tell them.
Yeah, red shirt will be happening. I'm only gonna be in there for about an hour. We getting ready for St. Joe Central. Kingdom Cast on Thursday. We got a lot of good stuff going on. So
Yep. And then Kingdom Cats Thursday. So we're gonna be looking to the Chiefs Seahawks preseason matchup, and we go from there, man. So that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share all your social media platforms. If you watch us on Twitter, don't forget to hit the retweet and like button and share it to everybody that you know.
Quote tweet us. Quote tweet be like, hey, good stream.
Yep. W stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, W stream. These guys know what they talking about. I'm definitely gonna subscribe. Yeah, cool.
For sure. So with that being said, Chiefs Kingdom, we out of here.